Hey, this is Londa of CocoaMommy.com, and I'm on doing a video basically because I was nudged by Gabriella over at The Independent Mom. We met online, and one of the things that she suggested I do, in addition to my blog post, is to do more video because, as she stated, it's another way to connect with my audience. And I'm totally on board with that. I think it's a great platform, especially when people don't get to typically hear you. They're doing more of reading your content on your blog. So last summer I started a blog series called Diary of a Divorced CocoaMommy. My intent was to do this blog series so that I could provide not so much professional advice, because I'm by no means a professional in this area, but to give people a real life perspective on my experiences. And possibly if there's information that I provide that you can, learn, if you're going through the same, challenges, you can pull that information and use it to your benefit. That's even better. Now, one of the things that I've been working on in the past couple of weeks is how to combine that information that's on the blog post and make it available to those reading my blog. So one thing that I did come up with is an ebook. My ebook is only 3 chapters. I wanted to make it really short, nothing too lengthy to begin with, but I wanted to do an intro, which is where I started with the blog series, exactly what the blog series would include. And most of it is pretty much my experience from start to finish. So from the time I separated, the filing for divorce, and actually going through the divorce process, because I do have kids, and kind of what that looked like for me. That's the intro. And in chapter 2, I talk about co-parenting from my point of view, because I see that so often and so much now. And at times I feel like it's a psychological buzzword. I don't feel like it necessarily applies to every situation and to every household or every parenting situation. So I wanted to kind of give my perspective on that whole term and what that looks like for me and my kids. The 3rd chapter I talk about is divorce contagious, because I feel like once you go through a divorce, your social setting changes in terms of, getting so much advice, and it comes from everywhere. So I talk about how to manage advice and what I found to be extremely helpful when discussing some of the things that I was going through, and maybe reaching out to people for not necessarily advice. Sometimes you just want people to listen. You don't necessarily need to have a solution, or you're not looking for a solution. You just pretty much kind of want a sounding board because you need to vent, or you need to just express some emotion that is just, is brewing. But I talk about the different scenarios that I encountered as I was going through this process, and what that looks like and what it felt like. So that's pretty much the ebook. Something else that just came to mind in the past couple of weeks after I saw Beyonce's Lemonade visual album, and it was a lot of speculation on who she was referring to, whether it was herself or her parents. And of course, the topic of infidelity came to the forefront. So I know a lot of bloggers are going on to the Huffington Post, and they're doing blog posts, and they're using that platform to express their voice. So I came up with the idea of, hey, I want to give my real life perspective on infidelity and what that meant in terms of my choice to file for divorce. So I pitched the idea to Ariana Huffington via her email, and just pretty much said, I want to give my version and my flavor of my lemonade, and just give a real life experience based on these things, unrelated to any celebrity, unrelated to anything that we see on TV. This is, what I experienced. So shortly, a week after, I did get a response, and I was able to gain access to the platform. And I posted my blog post, and it's called Infidelity, My Lemons and My Lemonade. And it's funny because when I started my blog series last year, I remember when I had a miscarriage, my brother sending me a bouquet of of sunflowers. And in the bouquet, he inserted a card and it said, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." And it's interesting that the visual album was called Lemonade, because I'm assuming it was, using that as a metaphor to, challenges, things that you may go through, and that you gain enough resilience to get over it, and to move on and to move forward. Now, when I started my blog series, for some reason, I remembered that card my brother gave me, and I thought it resonated so well with, being married and being separated and then filing for divorce. So I used that as kind of my visual on all of my blog posts. So I decided to take a picture of lemons and lemonade, and I've been using that pretty much on all of my blog posts throughout the blog series. So if you pop onto the site and you go to any of the posts that are specific to Diary of a Divorced CocoaMommy, that's what you're going to see. So it was just interesting when I saw that was the name of her visual album. With that said, I will leave the link to my blog post that's part of the Huffington Post platform, and I will also leave the information for my ebook. But if there's any questions you may have, things that you want to throw my way, advice. Again, I'm not a professional. I can only speak from my own personal experience. But I think too, when you authentically share some of the things that you've experienced, it may just be like one word you may say that may, be eye-opening for someone else. So if nothing else, I can give you any and everything based on my experience and be as transparent as I possibly can, which I think also helps. Like, I never want to pick a specific topic about this experience that I don't have personal experience with, because I don't think that's fair to my audience for me to go on and not give, this really happened to me. This is, what I witnessed. This is what I had to do. So any topic that I am choosing to post on the blog in the series are things that I realistically had to do, or things that I encountered on a firsthand basis. So with that said, I'm hoping that, my story will inspire you, will empower you. I'm by no means telling people, what to do. I think every choice that we make is solely based on your situation and you as an individual. And also as a mom, it was very important for me to make decisions that long term, it would be in the best interest of not only just for myself, but also for my children. So I think, there's been so many challenges along the way, but I definitely can provide, at least some insight on, what those look like for me. With that said, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you have any questions, please, any comments, you can reach me at info at CocoaMommy.com. And I'm also on Twitter, CocoaMommy. And I'm also on Google Plus as CocoaMommy. So if you have any questions, by all means, you can feel free to drop me an email, and I will respond as soon as I'm physically possible. I got a minute to do this video, actually a little over 10 minutes to do this video. So it kind of worked out that I had a little bit of free time this evening. But I want to say thanks to Gabriella. You've given me the courage to go on and continue to do videos. Because I really would like to connect more with my audience, and if that's what it takes, I'll just have to commit to doing a little bit more of the video, and I'll call them vlogging, in addition to my blog posts that you will see out on CocoaMommy.com. So with that said, I am going to sign off for now, and I hope to be back very soon. And until then, I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.